All right, we're back. And man, oh man, we have a lot to talk about here in Central Florida. It's time to talk about the big hurricane that's still ongoing here. Radar is all aglow. You see the big warnings that we've had throughout the afternoon here. Anything you're seeing in red, that is a tornado warning from the radar, from the powerful KMG. That's just crazy. This is the National Weather Service radar. That's what I'm looking at, actually. And you see these red markings? At one point today, we had not one, not two, but about 12 going at the same time. A lot to talk about here. I'm trying to line everything up so I can get to your questions and answer your questions as they come in to me. The storm itself is still a Category 3 storm, but I have good news and so-so news on the whole situation. Milton's still strong with wind speeds of about $120. How many times do I do that? Turn my own body up. Milton has wind speeds still holding in there at about $120. They're on the way down, though. The backside of the storm is now sheared. So the eye's been torn up just a little bit. All the dry air and the shear is getting in there on the backside of the storm, just not enough to kill it quickly and make it totally dissipate and go away. I want to show you what's happening right now. This is what the storm looks like as a stationary satellite view of it by itself. The eye is kind of laid over, and so the eye wall on the backside has been sheared. Is this storm worse than Matt? You mean Matthew? No. It will be as far as the impact, except for the beach erosion, I think. Although I think beach erosion with this stands to be pretty doggone heavy as well. What's this thing in the last several hours? If you were with us last night on Talk Time, we talked about wobbles and how they change everything. Going back to 2016 with Hurricane Matthew, we thought, right up until we were safe, we thought we were dead in the water, dead in the water, dead in the water. Because, hi, Ms. Wellington, how are you? Thank you all for tuning in. Good to see your name on Talk to Tom. Hey, we thought we were going to get blasted by Hurricane Matthew so badly, and that maybe Cocoa Beach would never be the same. And it wobbled. It had wind speeds that were intense and so crazy, and it wobbled out just to the east about 10 or 15 miles. Talking to my friends at the National Hurricane Center, they were like, the whole eye, another 10 to 40 miles would have changed everything. You guys lucked out. And we did. And then today, over the course of this storm in the last 24 to 48 hours, thought we were totally lucking out again because it had wobbled to the south in the last 36 hours. And yesterday at this time, that southerly jog away from the line of projected movement had really changed the ballgame quite a bit as far as who was going to get blasted on the coast. Today, watch that satellite. Watch that eye, where the eye would be. Watch it. Watch how it comes a little farther to the north. See that? Wobbles up to about right here. And the biggest convection you're seeing now is on the north side of the eye right in there. It's all shielded over. And the back side of the eye is being ripped apart. But the storm surge associated with the eye will follow. And when it does, that looks more and more likely to me like this will probably end up going into maybe Tampa instead of Sarasota. And I've thought all day long that Sarasota was going to get drilled by this. Hi, Angie. Thank you for tuning in. That's what it looks like right now as this rolls. Watch it. See the bottom, the backside? Open, sheared. Yeah, love that. Die, please die. The more it gets sheared, the more undone it is. That will help so much to kill this thing early and turn it extratropical and turn it into more of a rainstorm than a windstorm. Unfortunately, the modeling kind of nailed this because right up in here is that frontal boundary. Right up here at the top. That's your frontal boundary, right up in there. And what that's doing is that that's interacting with the storm itself and producing all of the big rain that you see. So here's my best guess. Since it's wobbled a little bit to the north, this might change things for the Tampa Bay zone. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I don't wish it to go into Sarasota or my beloved Anna Maria Island either, but if it goes into the Tampa Bay region, it's going to pull water out of there right now and then go whooshing that water back in there later. So as of 5 o'clock, that's where we're located. That's what it looks like. Little bitty wobbles matter at landfall in a big, 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 big way. Now, what we preach across the interior for everyone is that a hurricane's not a point. We had tornadoes today that were nasty looking. We get tornadoes basically 3 times a year here. During the rainy season, from the thunderstorms, colliding sea breezes, big thunderstorms, you get tornadoes. We get tornadoes during the El Nino winters, when instead of those lows, Colorado wave lows, so it's going from Colorado up and being snowstorms in the northeast, they just come booking straight across the Gulf of Mexico. That's when we get big tornadoes. During these tropical sessions, we get tornadoes in these feeder bands, which is what's been going on. Let's go back to radar real quick. Here's radar from the National Weather Service. And you see that right now, still some tornado warnings. One just expired in Orange County, but another one from Fort Pierce, just up to the south of Brevard County there. That action is typical of feeder band activity. You get that rotation, heavy rain coming over the land, brings the high rotating wind to the surface, and boom, tornadoes. Normally, those are quick, and they happen within 2 or 3 minutes. By the time we can get on to warn you on television when I do that stuff, it could be over. They're so quick. They spin up so fast, gone, done. Like EF1s, EF0s, maybe. That tornado we saw today in South Florida was a wedge. That sucker was big. That was a long train tornado. It was rocking the Gaga. I haven't heard about damages, but man, it looked awful. It looked awful. So just know, yeah, this thing should be on land by 11 o'clock. Should be rocking through here with the highest wind between about 4 o'clock in the morning and maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think by 8 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be done. How are we going to do? Well, we're going to do okay there. Tom, that's a good question. How are we going to do? Wind speeds 2 days ago, I was really afraid of 100-mile-per-hour winds. I was. I still think trees will come down in spots. I think we'll get 70-mile-per-hour winds just south of here. I'm prayerful in southwest Orange County around the attractions that maybe it doesn't get quite that bad, but that northerly wobble today does put us closer to higher wind. It does. You're listening to your Devin Skillion Tulsa CD? That's good music, isn't it? I mean, he's a friend of mine, but he does pretty well. All right. Hey, Mrs. Norman, how are you? How are things in the Queen City? One more look at the hurricane right now. That's what it looks like on the visible satellite. The eye is shielded over and it's sheared. The backside of the eye has been sheared away. So it's kind of an open eye right now, but not dying quick enough to make me happy. That's what it looks like on radar. Here's what it looks like on the News 6 radar. Let me make it big for you. Fill up the whole screen if we can. There we go. Where'd it go? There's my hurricane. There's the hurricane right there. Here's the Tampa Bay zone, getting all kinds of big rain right now. Here's Port Charlotte, right in there. All the way up the backside. If you come in here, you hit the area, the Myakka River. Myakka River goes right up in there. Myakka River goes up in there. And they're going to get a big storm surge. I'm afraid they can't get out of it. So Anna Maria Island, Sarasota, all that area is going to end up with a huge storm surge. No getting away from it, even though it looks to me like maybe the storm itself is going to weaken quite a bit, we hope. Going to weaken fast. Palm Coast, I'm afraid your onshore flow, Joe, and your heavy rains still continue. With that wind coming in from the east, it's going to pound surf, beach erosion. You could have a storm surge, not from the eye, but the surge of the onshore flow, as much as 6 feet. That's pretty bad for Flagler County. That's pretty bad for Palm Coast. If I were working at KMG right now, what would I be doing if I were not on the air? I'd be on the air right now. This is my prime time. Would have been my prime time. When they would pull me off the air, I would try to get outside to my truck if it was safe and be alone. Because, honestly, I'm kind of a loner. I'm actually not a loner, but I am kind of a introvert in a way. I'm an introvert that lives an extroverted life. This is me performing, but when I'm done, I need to be quiet and be alone and suck it all back into me. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And that's what I'd be doing. Hey, Jennifer Morse, how are things in Ocala? Getting some big rain up there in Ocala? I bet you are getting the big rain. How come I can't back that up? All right, I'm going to wrap this up. The tornado problems are still ongoing for another few hours as feeder bands come through. The backside of the storm has been sheared, which is great news. You see it right here. The backside of the eye disappears. Let me take me out. You ought to be in pictures. You're the picture of health. Let me take my picture out so you can see. See the back side of the eye sheared out there? That is all good. We need that open eye. We love that. Dry air needs to suck in there and kill this storm. Unfortunately, it's Cat 3. Approaching landfall with winds of about $120. So it's going to be hard to kill it the way I'd like to kill it. There's Ocala getting rain. This feeder band right here from Orlando out to Vero Beach to Fort Pierce was the one producing all the tornado warnings. This next feeder band does not look as intense. Hopefully it does not produce any tornado warnings. No, I don't think it can strengthen again, Becky. And the reason I don't think it gathers any more strength is because the bottom side of it sheared out. And for it to get stronger, get higher wind speeds, it would have to reform, and it's coming ashore. Winter Park going to be okay? Well, it depends on what you mean by that. We're going to have tropical storm force winds in Winter Park, and we may have canopy damage. We may have some trees go down and power outages. We may still. I'm hopeful that we don't. I'm hopeful that the way things rolled through here with Helene a couple of weeks ago cleared out some treetops, and we trimmed things up and got some branches down. And hopefully we don't have a tree down in every street in Central Florida taking out power from time to time. But the big news is winds are down to about 120 miles per hour, about 105 knots, 120 miles per hour. Our tornado threat is starting to abate a little bit across the interior, but continue along the coast with that feeder band, which has been the intense feeder band producing all the tornado warnings throughout the day. Here's a shot of the eye wall right now. I'll put that into motion. And you see the activity pushing up towards Sarasota. Looks to me like maybe the eye is going to go in north of Sarasota now. We'll know within another 5 or 6 hours. All right, I'm going to hang this up. I'll be back tonight, maybe at 11, if I don't lose power. I'll check back in with a new update at 11. See how close we are and what's ongoing. Folks on Real Radio said they were going to go overnight tonight, and if I'm awake to call them. I don't know, man. Big Daddy Tom might want to go to sleep. All right, take care of yourselves and each other. Hang on, and we will make it through. Remember not to do anything stupid. I know it sounds silly, but don't go outside in the height of the storm. I've got to walk Toby too. I understand. I'm going to wait till I get a break. Get him outside, get him walked, get back inside. Do not go outside in the height of the storm. Don't sleep under a tree that could fall through your house. Just rough it for the night. Sleep in a different part of the house. Don't go near the windows during a tornado warning. Just don't. We need you here tomorrow too. All right. I'll see you later. Take care of yourselves. Peace.